last 6 months, I've been approached by 3 different groups wanting to replace me with an AI. One person said it would be like a magic gumball machine.
This is a wowie zowie gumball.
I'd seed it with my previous videos and scripts, turn some knobs, and then watch endless finished products come out.
Yeah, I remember this just from like growing up, like in the 2000s. They had this at like Taco Bell. It was so interesting, but I think that's a pretty good analogy of how AI just like is this weird little device that like outputs this like uh
My
output
first thought
and
was, if you have this magic machine, what do you need me for? What's the role of my thought? Socrates faced this exact question 2,400 years ago. He wasn't worried about AI, he was worried about writing, fearing it would replace our thoughts.
so yeah, I've heard this argument a lot that we have faced, new innovation throughout history, and yeah, it scared the people of the times, but we all adapted and moved forward through it. So yeah, we're discussing this in the moment because this is our age of innovation, and it is AI. But yeah.
And said it would create the show of wisdom without the reality. Because reading a thought isn't having it, it must be spoken. Looking at this technology today, he might have been way ahead of his time.
Hello, I'm here.
Oh. Hi.
Bro, what was that? I love it, but okay.
Hi.
What Socrates felt was that there is a fundamental difference between hearing something and saying something. He wouldn't hand you answers, he forced you into a dialogue. He made you generate the idea yourself. The struggle to find the words is the mechanism of thinking. And so you could design dialogues using the right questions, which would unfold, creating the potential for this knowledge to grow inside someone's mind. Ancient religious traditions understood this. For example, the Talmud isn't a list of answers, it's an encoded debate. The oral Torah had to be spoken, discussed, regenerated each generation.
So on this, I think that there is so much that we could dive into it. I think that there is such a divide, especially back in the day, from those that were literate to the common person. The top echelon of society, they were literate, and it unlocked abilities and capabilities that the average person just didn't have. And they used this as a gate to keep, the common out from what was the upper echelons of society. But yeah, I think we're going to be facing something similar for those that are able to best create AI systems and have these established ways of interacting with the world by leveraging what they create on the side, which is going to be their AI representative. And I think that every single person is going to have their own representative or like an agent that is associated with them, but they're also broken down much further into specific agents that are in skills or so be it. But the idea is like, how does this affect the upper echelon? How do they gatekeep that? And I think that you're kind of seeing them do it through making AI and all these companies. They're closed source. They aren't open source projects, and it's very interesting how the West is going very closed source, and then you see China and you see Europe, of course Europe, which would go open source, which trying to give it to the masses so that everybody can use it. But it seems like in the U.S. People are still the driving force for the AI innovation from just leveraging AI tools in their own workflow, but the actual source code that is creating this innovation is very hidden. They don't want it out. So yeah.
Buddhist monks did the same thing with koans, paradoxes designed to force students to wrestle with questions, not memorize answers. Millennia later, modern research proved exactly why. In the 1920s, psychologist Lev Vygotsky had this beautifully simple idea that thinking is talking, first with people, then with ourselves.
crying is the first step. When your child cries, he cries all over. His arm and leg muscles contract, his face screws up into a knot.
I'm just saying, this baby, the way he like articulates, I think it's very similar to Donald Trump. Very hand moving ish. He's a very expressive, and the baby is doing the same thing. But yeah,
His mouth opens, and out comes the cry, the sound of human speech.
yeah, I guess this is the first sign of human speech. That would make sense, because if the baby's crying, it has a problem and it's trying to articulate it, but it just doesn't know
A
how.
certain amount of crying is necessary if he will talk someday.
So he observed babies closely, specifically their babbling phases.
A portion of his time is spent making pleasing sounds, or more accurately, comfort sounds. During these early months, your baby must be given the time to practice new sounds privately. Sounds that he makes will begin to feel and sound familiar.
It's how the machinery of thought is built, by talking out loud.
Self-talk gives our children words to think with.
First, babies practice syllables, then words, then they glue words together, eventually forming sentences that others can understand. This outward babbling eventually turns inward and becomes what we call inner dialogue, the voice in your head. The struggle to form words out loud creates the circuitry for thinking.
Winnie the Pooh lives in a house in the forest. Who's that?
See, I only retain and I can only grow if I output. It's the same thing from a baby. For the way that it learns language, it has to start by just making noises, and eventually it learns words and then sentences, and so be it. But same thing for your career. If you were just watching YouTube videos that showcase how to build stuff, but you're not actually taking on your own projects and building it, you're not actually retaining the information or the issues that would arise that would cause you to learn it. And the same thing was the reason for this YouTube channel and for me trying to create content on these YouTube and difficult topics, is it forces me to learn it, and these conversations, they force me to just kind of, grow my understanding of the world. And that's what I'm just trying to do. So.
Winnie the Pooh book.
In 1978, it got that name, the generation effect. You need to do it to know it. One key experiment was showing people flashcards with word pairs on them. Later on, they asked people to recall the words they read. Almost nothing stuck. But then they changed one thing. They showed them a word with a partially generated word. All of a sudden, memory skyrocketed. No new information was given to them. The only
Yeah, I'm thinking back. I remember, like, there was this science experiment that I did as a kid, and I wanted to see if you put in earbuds and you just listen to like the spelling bee, like all the words that you had for that week, right? And it just, like, while you were sleeping, it was just like blaring in your head, like, hey, this is how you spell purple or whatever, and then it just goes through it. So while I was sleeping, I was listening to like what was going to be my spelling test, and yeah, I did that for a whole week in preparation for the spelling test. I didn't actually go about, learning the words or anything, and I didn't do well. So yeah, you don't actually retain it just from having it spoken to you. You have to actually go through the process of filling in the blank to actually retain the information. So
difference was the struggle to generate the information that made it stick. And further experiments proved how this effect scales. It's not just about memorizing words, it's about grasping an idea.
It smells.
I know it smells. It smells good.
Smells good.
Where did you get it?
Smells good.
And brain scans confirmed why. When you generate a thought from scratch, you activate multiple regions at the same time, which encodes information in your mind. But when you just read or hear, those circuits barely light up. And this applies to both actions and words. Take drawing. Most people cannot draw, but they can trace.
I'm one of those people. I can build UI UX. I can okay draw. Nah, I'm not. I'm not that great.
Tracing creates the illusion of skill because the result looks perfect.
I could trace. I could do that.
But take the original away, and you cannot reproduce it. If you only ever trace, you never learn to draw.
Damn.
To learn to draw, you have to practice drawing from scratch with sketches. Once you learn how to do that, you have a special power. You can bring anything to life on a blank page. A skill that may become even more valuable in the future, the first sketch of an idea. The intelligence you build, whether with action or words, requires you to generate from scratch. Whenever we skip this step, we pay a price. This brings us to the paradox of technology. It accelerates our progress by doing jobs for us, but in doing so, it prevents us from knowing how we did them. Speaking of the
That is true. I don't know how my actual career would change if I would have had AI out the gate. Like, I think it was so important to learn the fundamentals prior to having that unlocked. Um, but
struggle to generate thoughts, here's something I've been using that really gets this right. Boot.dev.
oh, a sponsor. It's amazing. Yes, boot.dev. It sounds similar to like a learning platform that's integrated with quests. Check it out, support the guy. Great ad. I'm just going to skip through it.
Studied London taxi drivers and found that the region of their mind for storing spatial knowledge was physically larger than average. But drivers who switched to GPS, that gray matter actually shrank. A recent paper in The Lancet found that doctors using AI assistance for just 4 months had a weakened ability to spot cancer on their own. By outsourcing seeing to the tool, they
Health in general scares me because I know one day I'm gonna have to deal with it, and yeah, I don't know.
atrophied the fundamental visual skill needed to diagnose. The most damning evidence comes from Christoph van Nimwegen. He had 2 groups solve logic puzzles. Group A got helpful software highlighting valid moves as they worked through it. Group B got nothing. They struggled alone. Of course, Group A solved the puzzles faster. But then, when the help was removed for future puzzles, Group A collapsed. They, quote, aimlessly clicked around, he reported. Group B had no issue solving the puzzles. And until recently, this atrophy was limited to specific skills. But then came the irony. We invented a new kind of machine by forcing it to learn exactly the way we do, and that freed us from ever having to learn again. Large language models are designed by having it guess the next word billions of times on all written knowledge. Each wrong guess refined its understanding. And unlike previous tools designed for narrow tasks, this was general. A machine that learned a meta-language, not just words, but patterns, the structure of arguments, the rhythm of music, the logic of code.
And there's so much. It just this is the biggest innovation to ever hit humanity, and yeah, I think it's gonna be the best of times, and it could be the worst of times. But just enjoy the times that we get.
The flow of images. It compressed all forms of human expression into a single model. This dramatically increases the potential to atrophy our minds, since it can be applied to anything, and we already have strong evidence of this. In 2025, researchers at MIT ran an experiment. They had students write essays under 3 conditions: a brain-only group, a Google search-assisted group, and a final group who had ChatGPT.
Those videos are from the 90s, if not like 70s. Wasn't around, but okay.
They monitored the brain activity with an EEG while they worked, and the findings were dramatic. Minutes after finishing their essay, when asked to quote a single sentence from their own work, 83% of the ChatGPT group couldn't recall any specific text. And the few who thought they could, 100% of them got it wrong. And the brain activity backed it up. The chat
I definitely believe that. I also want to shout out, like, dude, what if you were like your dress code? Where was it? This guy. I want to go back. Yeah, you had to put on this device on your head so that they could like monitor your thoughts, so that the AI in your company could. I don't know, man. Dystopia. That's an image. I love this little harness that this character's wearing. I don't know where you got that image or what it's referencing, but yeah, it's learning off of us. It started with the social media and they started monetizing us as people, and then now it's our thoughts. And we basically all have one of these devices metaphorically. strapped onto the top of our noggins.
And the few who thought they could, 100% group showed significantly lower brain activity, specifically neural connectivity. Their brains appeared to dim while working.
So basically, what I'm saying is that, and this goes back to like, I don't know how, if I was to do this in this day and age, it takes so much um, self-control to actually do it, because once you have like a phone, or you have like Google, or you have AI, like you can't put it back in the bag, you know what I mean? Like you're at such a disadvantage for not using it, but it takes so much of the knowledge that you gain from actually going through the process that you become at a disadvantage. So it's like, is there a set age in your career that you should be able to unlock AI, like where they're saying like there's bans on people, or like the children going on social media until they turn 18 or something, or the same thing with AI. Like, what if we increase the threshold, but we make people learn in their early years, but at the age of 30, then you have access to AI. But then that's gatekeeping, you know what I mean? But then it forces you in your early years of your career to actually learn the shit, But then again, like, how are you getting a job? Because these companies, they just want the edge. So it's easier to just give a intern an AI agent and tell them to create slop. But in the end, it's not going to actually pay dividends. So it's this weird balancing act of just the marketplace and trying to get that understanding in the start of your career to being taken advantage of and not actually learning. I don't know. It's just going to be such an interesting time.
And then when evaluators looked at the essays, the AI assisted essays were technically proficient, grammatically correct, structurally sound, but they were consistently described as hollow or soulless. They seemed remarkably similar to each other. This was confirmed in a 2024 study where they had 300 people write stories, some with AI assistants, to seed their ideas, some without. But when they analyzed all the stories together, they found the AI assisted stories were significantly more similar to each other. This gets us to a cognitive cost beyond the individual. When everyone uses AI in a society, our collective thought begins to narrow. To better understand this effect, imagine all possible thoughts as a massive tree, infinite in size. Each thought, which you can imagine as a long sentence, is a pathway through this tree. Each step in the path is a word. Your mind will only ever explore a tiny, microscopic sliver of this tree, but that's your sliver. The pathways you choose are like a fingerprint. But when we look at AI thoughts, such as these generated stories, they tend to cluster much more.
This is a great image. This is one reason why I want to have the conversation, is I love the way that he end his piece. I love this tree graph of trying to articulate the human innovation through writing an essay to having an LLM do it, where it's much more narrow and all of the content that was created with it is much more the same.
Both in style and substance. Other researchers wondered if this could be fixed. So they did an experiment where they gave writers 10 different AI personas, each with wildly different cultural perspectives. A Latin American magic realist, a dystopian hard sci-fi writer, etc. And it worked. People creating with these different AI personas seemed to create a pool of stories where the diversity was restored. But here's the catch. The diversity of the stories only came from the human design personas in the first place.
This is it. This is where the real innovation, the real money, the real businesses that are going to be created is going to be the individuals that are able to successfully leverage this to their full maximum capability in whatever niche or focus that they are actually passionate in.
And other studies showed this. Once you seed an AI with a unique persona, the same problem persists. If you ask it to tell 100 stories, researchers found the output contained echoes.
So you can change, what focus the AI or the LLM is going. But its path and reasoning is going to be narrow to the project knowledge that it has, and the agent that you designed the task for. So just
Combinations of
keep
the
this
same
stuff in
ideas
mind.
repeating. So if you see just one output, it may look novel, but after you see many, you realize they're all banal echoes of the same thing. The AI doesn't generate new diversity as well as humans. It remixes what humans feed it. And we can model this by thinking about thoughts as similar to rolling dice at each branch as you select the next word. True random paths are maximally diverse, but they're all meaningless nonsense. AI's dice are weighted heavily, biased towards what's been said before in its training data. That's why these paths will make sense, but they will always cluster and echo each other. You can't escape the weighted dice. But human thought is different. It's like rolling weighted dice, but it's weighted, but they will always cluster and echo each other. You can't escape the in its training data. Heavily biased towards what's been said before in its training data. That's why these paths will make sense, but they will always cluster and echo each other. You can't escape the weighted dice. But human thought is different. It's like rolling weighted dice, but it's weighted by your unique life experience and what matters to you. And this weighting is always changing. This creates a diverse exploration within thought space that is also meaningful. You will wander into territory nobody else has been, and the AI couldn't reach. The key point is a large language model is optimized to continue thought, not generate new thought.
This is the key point. You are paramount to the success in an AI actually building or innovating. This isn't going to just create everything for you. This isn't a empty box. It isn't the magic 8 ball. It isn't that bubble gum example that we saw in the very beginning. This AI is only as capable as you are. So it is an extension of you, and it is a tool at the end of the day in its current form. It might change 10 years from now, new advances. I don't know. It might become that magic 8 ball, but right now in the moment, it is not. And this is what you have to play within in the field that you have to create your career is you have to understand that when you build and innovate, it is an extension of your thought. You paired with it is the best combination. It by itself can't do jack, or it can, but it has to be in a focused agent delivery way. But it is able to do so much more if it is paired with the right tool. And the right tool is the person. So we're still going to be in the driver's seat from an individual point of view, in my opinion, for how we work with, build with, and create with AI. So explore these topics that you're passionate about. And
The creativity is in the seed thought and its continuation, the human input. AI has no inbuilt curiosity or preferences, no why. It works better the more human thought you seed it with and direct it with. Recent studies also confirm this. AI is weaker than humans at divergent thinking, generating truly novel starting points. But it's highly effective at convergent thinking, refining and executing once you give it direction. And the MIT writing study we saw called this out as their most interesting result. They tested one final group, human first and then access to AI. The students who outlined their thinking first, then used ChatGPT, their brain connectivity was actually higher than the human-only group. The difference was the starting point, human first or AI first. So realize that asking common questions to AI constantly will lead to atrophy. Like using GPS every day in your own neighborhood, you'll lose the map in your head.
So I know it's very early, but it's just trying to understand the risks and the rewards of using what is this tool, because there are liabilities. There are things that you're going to be missing out on. There's knowledge that you're not going to retain because you're just letting this do it for you. So you have to have a healthy understanding of self control to get yourself to an understanding of what you're trying to take those next steps into, and then focus that AI agent to help deliver the results that will help you connect and build with the result that was created from the AI. But at the end of the day, you're still the driver.
But asking rare questions you've never asked before to an AI, the ones specific to your experiences, the connections only you could make, that's different. Finding the question itself is the work. So, what about this magic gumball machine? Well, there is no free lunch. The machine can execute from any starting point I give it, but it can't wander the way I do, through conversations, wrestling with confusion until I find something I wasn't even looking for. Out of the infinite possibilities, I'll only find a handful of these paths. Those paths have my fingerprint. An AI generating a random script or video based on my past work will be a distant echo, a very blurry fingerprint, because the chance of it finding all my next thoughts is zero. If instead I seed it with my idea, it might seem better for a moment, but it'll fail for the same reason. And ironically, the only AI input that properly reflects me is the one that has been given my entire thought, which only comes from the struggle to have that thought.
Okay, I really like the way that he like wrapped everything up. From the crying baby to like the gumball machine bringing it back in, but like the ending, bro, chef's kiss. I think he just killed it. That was just great.
Because generative AI is all about small inputs and large outputs. When you have small inputs and large outputs, there is simply no way for you to put all of your intention to specify all the things that need to be specified when making art.
And so the input is the work. The input is the value. And so think of this. In a world where the cost of answers is dropping to zero, the value of the question becomes everything.
So, with that in mind, 2026 should be about positioning yourself to ask the right questions. And that's a lot of the programming work that I've been doing behind the scenes, from setting up documentation that works with AI and LLMs to, creating limited working examples and other components that pair well with it. But yeah, we need to be able to ask the questions and things that we're passionate about and just kind of take that exploration and these new abilities and go on a adventure, build something amazing. And yeah, I think that this is just a great video. Um, so I'll end it here because
Thank you so much for watching this video.
yeah, he's ending it there. But it was very good video, man. I want to say that Art of the Problem. I'm subscribed now, so it's a great YouTube channel. Highly recommend checking it out. Thank you for creating something and allowing me to have a conversation on it. And yeah, if you'd like, check out my other videos because I'm trying to breathe life back into the YouTube channel. Subscribe, comment. Let me know your thoughts on the way that I'm going to try to create some new uh, content React videos to kind of help fill in the gap where I have and hopefully create a more healthy YouTube channel. But yeah, with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.